So obviously a first overall pick is franchise altering. I love that they got Jumbo Joe Thornton up there to make the pick. We all knew it was going to be Celebrini. That franchise went so long having big clear names representing it. Thornton, Marlowe, Nabokov, Pavelski, Burns. And then it just got to a point where, okay, Logan Couture and Thomas Hertl are still here, but there really wasn't much to market the franchise around. So now having Celebrini in there, it's huge for that franchise. And how about Beckett Seneca's reaction to being drafted third overall by the Ducks? Dude was in complete shock. And not just him, how about his dad? Just a priceless reaction there. I understand why it's going viral. We knew that third pick was probably going to be somewhat of a wild card, but I don't think many people had Seneca there, including him and his family probably, because Levshinov at 2 and even Lindstrom at 4 or 5 was something a lot of people saw coming. This one definitely not. You could even hear the surprise in the crowd. They're all like, whoa. Then things got really interesting once we got to Montreal at 5. There were still some really good defensemen left on the board, but their cupboard is stocked. Montreal's pipeline is full of young defensemen. They need a dynamic forward to pair with guys like Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky. We know they were interested in TJ Ginla, but with Ivan Demidov on the board, it started to feel more and more inevitable that he was the one going to Montreal, especially since last year there was all that noise about Michkov and the Montreal Canadiens and they passed on him. It really felt like this year they were going to jump on the chance to take Demidov, especially considering the fact that most scouts consider him the second most talented forward in the draft. That's just exactly what the doctor ordered for the Montreal Canadiens in their rebuild. And they got Céline Dion up there to make the pick. Like, come on, that's awesome. From what I've seen, Habs fans are absolutely hyped that they've picked this guy, and rightfully so. I mean, I know there's still a lot up in the air about when he's going to come in and what exactly his development route is going to look like, but I think they went best player available and filled an organizational need, which that's all you can really ask for. Then at number 6, the first ever pick in Utah's history, as many people in Calgary's hearts broke, TJ Ginla. I think it all worked out in the end, though. We'll get to that in a second. But for Utah to get this kid and be able to bill him as the first ever pick for that city, it's a big step forward for that franchise, and I think this kid's going to be an amazing player. The bloodline, yes, and how he was raised, but I think that on his own, independent of Jerome, he's just a really, really good player, especially when it comes to putting the puck in the net. There was always a Shane Doan-Jerome Ginla connection throughout their career, so now to have Josh Doan and TJ Ginla on the same team in the NHL, that's a pretty cool full circle moment. Now, Yakimchuk was ranked to go a little bit lower in most rankings, so for him to go 7 to Ottawa, that's what allowed guys like Sam Dickinson, Zane Parekh, Anton Silayev, Zeev Buium to be available later. Ottawa had their pick of the litter and they took Yakimchuk, so we'll see how that one turns out. I know Zane Parekh has been billed as this high-skill offensive defenseman, but the questions I've seen scouts and analysts swirl around him lately are, can he play defense in the NHL, and will his offense even translate to the NHL? Personally, I love the pick. Now they have Brustevich and Parekh, the 2 top-scoring OHL defensemen this year. Time will tell how Parekh plays on the defensive side and even on the offensive side of the puck, but I love that the Flames are able to get a guy here with that much upside, that much hope, and serious potential to be elite in the NHL, because that's what this franchise is dying, starving for more of right now. Young, elite talent. Some people are making the young Erik Karlsson comparison. I think that's way too much pressure, even though Karlsson did drop to 15th overall in his draft year because of similar concerns to Parekh. If he can just be a talented top pair offensive defenseman who can quarterback a power play, that's a massive win for the Flames. Elsewhere, I was kind of surprised that Zeev Buium fell all the way to 12. I didn't think he would be available there. Clearly Minnesota didn't either if they jumped up one spot to get him. A lot of people are saying that might be the steal of the draft. We'll see. And hey, for the last pick of the first round, 32nd overall, the Oilers must really like the Sam O'Reilly kid if they were willing to trade draft capital that could have been very, very valuable at next year's trade deadline to get you a rental or something else to help you on a cup run. I thought that was very interesting, especially it being a post-Ken Holland move. Those are the big points I wanted to cover from the first round of the draft. The Sphere was really cool. The trade alert thing with the foghorn was pretty cool. But now I pass it on to you. Your thoughts on the first round of the draft yesterday. Who got a steal and made a great pick, or even more interestingly, who made a big mistake? It's going to be fun to look back on in a few years once these players develop. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. You're awesome.